Pursuit of Podcast, a purely guest-centric show focusing on people and organizations that advance positive change. Positivity can be anywhere, and in a time of vast discord, the pursuit of is finding those who champion its causes loudest. Join us as we sit and learn about the pursuits of local leaders in their community. Let's go.
Hello, good people, and welcome to the Pursuit of Podcast, where it's truly not us, it's you. I'm Ryan Buck, Artist Development, New Leonard Media. With me is the boss, Mark Wilson, President, New Leonard Media.
How are you? Hey, Ryan, I'm well. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Okay, that's enough of that. Our guest today is John Tuck, owner and co-founder of TinLid Hat Company. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
This is exciting. Now, you're a hat company here in Traverse City that owes its origin in some way to disc golf.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah. So when we first started it, we just made some hats that said Frolf right on the front from some cheap website, and they came in and they were absolutely horrible. So we never wore them, got rid of them. And then we only ordered 10 or 15, I think, just for some friends and maybe hope to sell a couple. So we got rid of them, but we were still bent on having the Frolf hats. So we put a little bit more time into the design, put a little bit more time into sourcing them, and ordered 100 this time. And they came in pretty well. So we started selling them at Hickory Hills and secondhand goods downtown, some other resale shops.
Or second level.
Second level, there you go.
Yeah. Support
Nice.
your local skate shop.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And your local ski hill, man. That's dope. The city-owned Hickory
Yeah,
Hills.
what was that old skate shop that closed down?
And there's
Laughing Buddha.
Oh, Unity?
I can't remember what it was called.
Man, so many have come and gone.
Yeah,
but
there's
downtown
one.
skate shop was the big
Front
one
Street
for
Skate
me
by
at
the
time.
tattoo shop, which is where,
Yep, right there.
yeah, Urban Meds is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was a skate shop, too. That's where I got my first skateboard here. Cool. So we were talking, your neighbors here, and when Mr. Wilson asked what you do, what'd you say?
I sell hats.
I sell hats.
Yeah.
And does that still ring true? Somebody says, what do you do?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how else to say it without going into a rant, so I sell hats.
Can
Simple
you call
enough.
yourself a haberdasher?
I guess so. I
That's
might
a
have
real
to
eloquent way of doing
might
it.
have to look it up in the dictionary first.
I think it's somebody who makes hats.
Are you the Mad Hatter?
Yeah, there you go.
So we're kind of past the holiday season, and you are online only, correct? Do you have a store? Or
No store, just online.
How was the holiday for you?
It's good. December is always the busiest period of the year, from Black Friday to Christmas, and then it kind of slows down and until March maybe, but we'll see. Maybe the stimulus checks will help a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So you started this pursuit in 2014, and in your words, you were, quote, founded on a whim, built on good times.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So kind of like I said earlier, when we ordered the hats, the first order was just basically throw them out. And we didn't really plan on starting a company. We were just ordered from our supplier what we thought we might be able to sell at Hickory Hills or other disc golf courses. Didn't have any business plan or website or really anything. So it was more just like, oh, when you talk to your buddies and like, oh, we should start a blank company. Like, we just kind of did it. And as we were able to sell more, we kind of took it a little bit more seriously as time went on, and maybe had a website 6 months after we first made the hats and just kind of rolled with it.
Nice.
You know, the website's real nice.
Thanks.
You know, it's smooth and it's classy and it's informative and just ease of use. Did you have like contacts, somebody within your circle that was into web development, or did you have to raise capital to get that done? Because
I built it on Shopify. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I built it on Shopify and just spent some time on it. And there's some specific things on it that I had to contract out for maybe $50, but overall,
Nice.
did it really quickly.
So yeah, like something that in our time in the 90s, especially, you know, the turn of the century, would have cost, you know,
$1 billion.
Yeah, 10 to 15 grand to get that website. You did yourself, and you're not a graphic designer at all, web development. You just a business owner who put together his own site.
Yeah, I mean, Shopify makes it pretty easy. I know Squarespace kind of does the same thing where you can
Wix.
kind of, Wix, just kind of plug it in. In high school, me and my buddy started another business that didn't work out so well, but we had to have that bill, and it cost about $5,000, and it didn't look as nice either.
Yeah.
Wow. And we're not sponsored by any of these companies, by the way. We'd be open to it if you wanted to get at us. So you mentioned disc golf. The hat served a need. There was a need. What was the need that the hat served that made it good for disc
It
golfers?
said froth, so we were just like that, and then we had a strap on the side that was kind of to the right of the ear a little bit. That was either for pencils for keeping your score, cigarettes, or whatever you could think of to put in there.
So rather than shoving it behind your ear, you had a convenient place built into the hat.
Yeah, and people like that idea.
Yeah, you still have some hats on the site that have that.
Most of them do, yeah.
Wow. So what is froth?
Frisbee golf.
Frisbee golf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I should have known. I'm not hip. I don't have to
they're,
go.
they're,
it's
they're
all right.
frothing at the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to Hope College.
Yeah, I did.
Correct?
Just for 2 years.
So did you study business? Did you study anything that related to what you're doing now?
Not so much. My plan was to go into economics or do a major in economics and business, but at Hope, you have to spend your first year or two taking just general ed classes, which is kind of waste of
That's a
time
bummer.
and money. But so this summer going into my sophomore year is when we started TinLid, and then by maybe January of my sophomore year, it was doing pretty well. So I was thinking, almost halfway through that year, I kind of decided I was going to leave school and hopefully pursue this and see if it worked out. And if it didn't,
You go back to school.
go back to school.
That's the beauty of, the way things work these days. Were you taking student debt, or did your family save for you? How were you paying for college?
When I was young, like single digit age, my grandmother bought some kind of Michigan grant that they offered for like a
Nice.
year or two.
Yeah.
So that took care of the schooling, and then that's when I would have had to start going to debt.
Oh, after the first year or two?
Yeah.
Some say, the institution today is a trap.
Yeah.
If you can't cash flow it, it's like, dude, for the price of a house. Now,
Right.
I'm a big
More
fan
than
of,
the price of a house.
I'm a big fan of
or a down
education.
payment. Yeah.
And I have several degrees and I believe in it. But if you know that it's not for you, I have a son that is not, he has no interest in going, that he wants, just like you, he wants to pursue something immediately. It is a waste.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously certain careers that you got to go to college for, doctor, lawyer, etc. But
Professional
You
careers.
prefer them to have a degree, right?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
non-degree doctor, I'd be a little nervous about seeing.
But there's, so many times I have friends who don't have the college degree. They're business owners. They're very successful because
Yeah.
they're go-getters, If you're willing to grind, you're gonna go get it.
Well, when you found on a whim and you build on good times, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think that's hyperbole. That's just
yeah.
on a whim. So prior to founding TinLid, 2012 was a pretty good bowling year for you. How
Yeah.
many championships did you win in 2012?
Well, I don't remember what I didn't win at.
That's a lot of medals in one picture. A lot. And somebody says they need a bigger neck.
Yeah, I was about to say, where did you find that? Like, dude, I didn't know you were a bowler, huh?
Yeah, I bowled all throughout high school. I was pretty good. I went to state all 4 years.
Did you
and
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I bowled at 300.
Do you know all the bowlers here in town? Like,
Probably,
the
yeah.
community.
Yeah,
so,
most
like,
of
if
the
I
time.
said like David Anderson and David Anderson,
I mean, I know what they look like. They probably wouldn't know me, but some of the bowlers, like if I go to Lucky Jack's, I'll bowl with
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Do you know Marcus Owen or any of
yeah,
them?
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So-
a small bowling world here. in
It-
Kansas City.
it is a small bowling community,
And if
when
you're
you-
somebody who can roll the 300, they normally know
And you
each
said
other.
you have rolled the 300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what medals they were, but I didn't win
was a good
state,
year.
and I'm still bummed about it.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, I brought it up.
It feels nice to bring up the glory days a little bit. though.
Sure.
you
And
go.
you still got it, I'm sure, if you had to throw down.
I haven't bowled in a bit. To be honest.
Favorite bowling movie?
think there's only one.
What?
Not really, but
Several.
it's
really
between two. It's between two.
What, the Big Lebowski and Kingpin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, in this adventure, you're starting this company, and obviously you're successful. It's very legitimate. What was the biggest surprise to you in starting and sustaining a business like this?
I think maybe the biggest surprise was how difficult it was to get into other stores. So we pursued the online route a little bit more than that. And probably the biggest good surprise was being able to meet and do opportunities just like this podcast and other things that you don't really think that would come along with it that just are fun.
Did it help that Traverse City is kind of a smaller town? And like if you're trying to launch this in Chicago or Indianapolis, is the kind of quaintness of Traverse City an asset for you?
I think it helped at the beginning, especially when we were at Hickory Hills and in the local skate shops. Obviously, that community is all pretty close when everyone's going to the same places. That it does help get the name out a little bit. At this point, now we sell in all 50 states, and we've sold to maybe like 40-something countries, so Traverse City doesn't have as much of an impact anymore.
Yeah.
But at first, just to keep going, I mean, Traverse City was everything because, like I said, we ordered the 10, threw them out, ordered 100 with no plan, and we're able to get rid of them.
Right. Well, it had to give you a feeling of pride or legitimacy to see, that first retailer with your gear in it.
Yeah, it felt like we got into some Cabela's or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was only on consignment too. They weren't even buying the hats up front. But when they took them on consignment and we started seeing people at Hickory Hills wearing them that we didn't sell them to there, it was like, oh, this is crazy. It felt like, you're going viral or something.
Like hearing your song on the radio.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
So from the website, your goal, and this is a quote, we want our followers to embrace the spirit of travel and adventure. Our love for the outdoors has led us to believe in the significance and importance of environmental restoration and conservation. Now, TinLid does amazing things with their purchases. We're going to get to that in a second. But how did disc golf kind of cascade into this passion for travel and adventure?
Well, especially in Traverse City, there's not theater or those kind of arts that you'd find in bigger cities. There's more outdoor stuff to do with the parks. So we loved going disc golfing because that was a great way to just be outside. We still like going around to a bunch of different places and road tripping, doing what we can. So being on good times, like we wanted it to be a part of that. We weren't taking it so seriously. It was just kind of, we wanted the brand itself to reflect kind of what we did, which was just like a fun culture of being outside, basically. Did
the product start to kind of evolve and shift as you focused more on that outdoor travel adventure lifestyle?
Yeah, we started using a little bit more fabrics that were like ripstop, a little tougher, and then we started going more with waterproof stuff like that. We do have some plans to roll out certain things like boonies that you'd wear for fishing or being in the sun, stuff like that. And
was that an inside scoop? Uh-oh.
I wouldn't put a date on it.
Okay, there you go.
There you
wow,
go.
That was diplomatic.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah. And as it evolved, like we were going more into what the fabrics were as well, switching from like basic acrylic, which is what Brixton or other brands might be made out of, switching to hemp or organic cotton or recycled fabrics, certain things like that.
Who's doing R&D for you? Are you doing this yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing that, yeah.
Wow. So you found a way to become an expert on fabrics, and was there a tough learning curve there getting into all that?
Yeah, a little bit, because you don't know what you're looking for. And so part of it is just Googling, like, what are good fabrics, and then they have to be the right weight for a hat, because you don't want linen hemp sheets that are a hat, or else it would just be like a napkin. So
true. Melt in the sun.
Yeah.
Give you a pleasant experience.
Hats are my hair. So like, we
won't
the
want to
fabric
wear
of the
a
hat's
napkin.
very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
So, what's your most popular product currently, and has that changed in the last few years?
Probably we have one called the Green Excursion 5-panel that's been our most popular over the last 6 months to a year. And then we have another hat called the Black Timeless, which is just a black dad hat with our tree, which we've probably sold the most amount out of since we started.
Right.
And then we have another called the Charcoal Moire hat, which is made of recycled polyester. And so those are about our top three.
Recycled polyester.
Wait, the one you just cited that has the string on the front, like the one you're wearing right now?
Yeah, similar.
Yeah. So I got my nephew.
Yeah.
Got him that for the holidays. Now, what hat am I wearing right now?
That's a black Easy Goer.
Oh, the easy go. That's
The
me.
Easy
Easy
Goer.
going.
Yeah.
Easy does it.
And this is not a visual medium, but these hats are super sexy and really, really good looking, to be honest. I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Sans hat in the studio. Getting a little insecure about it. It's okay. So, John, you've got a partner in this, Will Andre. Is that correct?
Will was my partner, but I actually bought him out maybe 3 years ago.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Well, was that part of the plan? Well, how did you guys meet, and how did you lift this journey off?
Yeah, he's been one of my close friends. We met in we started playing basketball together in 5th and 6th grade, and then we ended up going to the same school from 7th grade to graduation. So we've been really close friends since then. It was going a little slow. It was hard for both of us to make money, so that's kind of how we ended up. I don't think he was quite as enthused about it as I was, so we ended up kind of...
Yeah, that's what I was going to just interject
happens.
with is any time I've seen friends start out and they partner, one of them wants a little more security than the other.
Yeah.
And that gets really trying because, like you just said, you're going to struggle for a little bit until it's off the ground.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So, TinLid, is that a question you get a lot? What's the meaning of the name?
So Will made up that name, and it started... He got the name because when disc golf was first a thing, they started throwing tin trash can lids at trees. And so then they ended up having a tournament called,
That was the origin of disc golf, was throwing trash cans at trees?
And also, is that common knowledge amongst disc golfers?
I don't think so. He told me that he found it doing some research when we were trying to come up with a name.
I think we've got an exclusive here. This is a
Yeah,
pursuit
so
of
you
exclusive.
got to get that story heard more. So
great.
that people
Yeah,
understand.
Will came up with that. I got to give him credit for it. He did some research when we were trying to come up with the name, and that's where it came from. I think now the term, that's kind of died out, throwing tin lids at trash cans or at trees. But
Yeah, but dude, paying homage to
That's the best kind
humble
of origin
beginnings.
story for a name, because
Yeah.
Tin Lid sounds cool. It's fun to say. It looks good. The logo looks great. The website looks great. But that it comes from something that's kind of a fun, little esoteric story is super cool. So you're the George Michael, and he's the Andrew Ridgely of Wham. He's just kind of nobody remembers him, and you're the
I
star.
wouldn't say I remember him.
Wait, you remember Wham?
I know that Christmas song.
Wow,
I know who George Michael
that's
is.
great.
that
And
was the
it's
bomb.
referenced a lot in the Deadpool movies, so that's in the zeitgeist now.
Yeah.
So what's remarkable about TinLid and what you do is that for each product sold through your partnership with Trees for the Future, one tree is planted
Yep.
that's extraordinary. So are the trees that are planted, are they in Michigan or could they be anywhere? How does that work?
So going back to the start, when we were first planting trees, we were planting them through the National Forest Foundation, which was planting trees all throughout U.S. parks for the most part. But that was a government organization, and we kind of wanted to move away from that. So we started working with Trees for the Future, and they do planting throughout really more so impoverished communities. So one of the main things they do is build forest gardens. So one of the main places they work would be sub-Saharan Africa. And what they do is plant, rows and rows of trees that would either provide wood fuel, maybe they'll grow fruit. Some of them are planted purely just to protect the community from wild animals. Others are planted to protect from erosion if they're on the coast. A variety of reasons is why they're planted, but mainly in impoverished communities rather than national parks.
Wow.
Nice. That's a great story. Do you intend to ever go see these, or have you gone?
I haven't seen them. I'd really like to, but it's a little out of the budget, and
You'll get there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would be an expensive trip, obviously.
I mean, do you have a list of places around the globe that your trees have affected positively?
Yeah, I couldn't name them off the top of my head, but
Sure.
Haiti, a lot of Middle Africa, Ghana, Kenya,
Wow. Extraordinary.
Tanzania, I think.
So
I might need to be fact check on.
I don't think our listeners are going to hold you that hard to it.
Cool.
And maybe this will give them a chance to get out a map and show their kids where these places are. But you knew you wanted to build a business for the greater good, and that's stated from the beginning. Was tree planting on the radar from the beginning, or did you come to that in a different way?
When we first started, we wanted to do a hat for each cause. So we had one hat that was for providing education for kids. One was for planting a tree with each purchase. And truthfully, I can't even remember what the third one was.
It's kind of like Project 7. Project 7, they're mints and gums. They all support. One hopes to end homelessness. One gives water.
Yeah.
So
Oh, the water. That was the other one. Yeah.
was that just kind of untenable with all that it would take to coordinate that?
Yeah, it was too hard to coordinate it. When we were first getting going, it was like we weren't selling enough hats to really feel like we should be diving into a bunch of different pots. So it was kind of like, let's just focus on one thing and see what we can do.
That's good and advisable, because it is hard. You want to help everything.
Yeah, and luckily Trees for the Future, they kind of do a little bit of both. It's a great partnership.
Well, some of the things that you said kind of sounds like it'll help clean up the environments of where they're being planted at and actually promote water, et cetera.
Yeah.
Well, it's an awareness. It's a company doing good on every purchase, which is a really strong statement to make and a strong gesture to make to the world. So if you go to tinlidco.com, is that the best? tinlidco.com, that's the primary way to purchase products from Tinlid. And it yields that you've planted over 100,000 trees.
Yep. At this point, it's probably near 150 or 160. We did just start doing custom hats for people. I won't name who we're doing them for, but we also plant trees with custom orders. So
Wow.
Yeah.
And so on the website, you can customize. It can just, somebody is looking to buy a couple of hats for, there's minimum orders, but.
The minimum order would be 50 in one exact style.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so, and it's very consultative, right? So they send you the design and you work with them on a product that they're going to be happy with.
Yeah, a lot of the times they ask for suggestions, like what's your best seller, what would be best for, girls of this age, people
Sure.
at coffee shops might be asking. I advise them, give them as much advice and input as I can, but obviously it's up to them and what they like.
Do you have clients who are like restaurants and, as you said, coffee shops and, clients who are buying obviously in a little bit of bulk?
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, we have coffee shops all over the country, really, too. Like some in California and out on the East Coast in New York, and some YouTube people that order. So,
have you gotten a request for a hat and you're just like, we don't know how we're going to do that, or it's too weird?
not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. I always tell anyone that tries to make a custom hat, I tell them we could probably do anything you can think of as long as it's reasonable.
Yeah.
We can't make a hat out of sheepskin or probably could actually, but we wouldn't.
Look at alternative fabric when it goes to sheepskin.
No, well, he didn't say human skin.
That's for the people in the mountains of Burma.
Yeah,
That's the
I was
Ed
thinking like bucket hats or whatever.
Yeah, we could make
break
those.
dancer in me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look, 160,000 trees planted since 1989. Trees for the Future have planted over 115 million trees. And you're talking about real people being affected positively by this. So here in 2021, 160,000 hats. Are you happy with the success at this far? Have you reached a benchmark, or is there way farther to go.
It's bigger than I thought it would, or more trees than I thought we could ever plant. From selling at Hickory Hills on the golf course or on the disc golf course, but I would like to be able to pick up more projects, whether it be something where a local fishery needs some extra funding to clean it out, or making trails like Boardman Trail or something like that. I would like to be able to expand into projects like that eventually. Right now, it's not really on the table, but hopefully within a couple of years.
So you're looking to, maybe get to the point where you are supporting more than one area of help. It could be trees, it could be water.
Yeah.
And that's a possibility, which is great.
As long as it's within environment.
Right.
Yeah.
So has any other company or apparel or otherwise has anybody looked to do a crossover with you? Any kind of collaboration, designers, anything like that?
We've done it with some people that are on Instagram, so influencers, but we haven't done it with another company.
So you're not looking to do a Michael Jordan signature hat or anything
I
like
would
that?
be down for that.
That would be pretty great, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that. The main reason we haven't is just usually the terms don't work for either them or for us. So
Right.
it turns into we'll just make hats for you guys.
Oh, that's okay too.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And
Well,
that's more trees.
vertical integration.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. So I see in a lot of the videos that your video content's great. The website, as Mark mentioned, is fantastic. That's tinlidco.com. A lot of your clients seem to be enjoying nature with their pets. Do you have any pet gear? And is that, maybe if you don't, is that on the docket?
I don't have any pet gear with TinLid Hat Co., but on a side note, me and a guy that designs for TinLid have another company called Old Feller, and that sells some dog gear like collars and leashes.
That's Old Feller?
Yeah, OLFELLER.
Like old feller.
Yeah.
Like Old Yeller, but not.
Yeah.
And for anybody listening, and people love their pets. John has the most well-behaved dog I've ever come across.
I wouldn't go that far.
Listen, he says he wouldn't go that far, but that's a modest pet owner.
He's your easiest roommate, would you say? Out
well-
of 6 dudes or what have you?
Well, when she escapes from the back fence, that can be a pain. I've gotten some texts from Mark like, "Is this your dog being posted around?"
Is this your dog?
No, she's right next to
the
me.
neighborhood website,
Yeah.
post a dog that look like his over a couple
So,
blocks.
Old Feller, is that something you want to promote? Is there a website for that?
Yeah, oldfeller.com. We're still getting going, but we did just get into Huckberry, which is a pretty large men's website. They sell men's clothing or knives, whiskey glasses, stuff like that.
Sure.
So, yeah, if you guys want to check out Old Feller too, if you're checking out
Absolutely.
TinLid, that'd be great.
Well, but, looking at what you do you find it's easy to find partners? Because hats are pretty ubiquitous. It doesn't just have to be outdoor. It could be fashion, could be retail. Is that still the case, that you're finding that there's interest kind of across the board to place your...
Yeah. Usually if we want to send it to someone, they're more than happy to take it. I always say, you don't have to post, because normally we don't want to pay $2,000 for a photo, but they will end up posting anyway, so it kind of works out.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a happy space. You're doing something that's make people feel good. In Mark's case, it's his hair. In other cases, you don't have to, potentially stab your ear with the Frisbee disc golf pencil rather. But you mentioned this earlier, and I was going to look into this more, but I just thought I'd ask you, what's a dad hat?
I don't know how,
They're hats I used to wear before I was a dad, actually.
At the risk of sounding super unhip or not with it,
They're form-fitting. I can go grab one out of the house for you, but
I didn't know how. I just was seeing other people online describe them as dad hats.
Yeah, well,
They're
that
just like
was the trend a couple years ago, because it's just
fitted hat meaning?
like a classic six-panel baseball cap that kind of goes over your...
It fits.
Okay,
Like-
I never thought about hats in terms of panels.
And
So
This is a 5-panel.
and for some reason somebody started calling them dad hats.
Yeah.
And it stuck. It must be because dads wear them, which is funny. Like, as soon as they were starting to be called that, this dad quit wearing them. Like, dude,
I think they're cool.
I'm done, but that's from what I heard. I had some high schoolers living here, exchange students, and that's what they're like. Oh yeah, everybody's into dad hats. was like, Dad,
I think Dad gets
done.
front-loaded in a lot of stuff. It started with the bod,
Well,
and
you
then
know
at
what?
Dad pants and Dad music.
It's
rough out there for dads.
that's much better than what they call, like those A-frame undershirts.
Yeah. I feel like TinLid Hat Company sounds like they're supporting dad hats because it's presented in a positive way. So I'm here as a dad to support TinLid no matter what, because they're
not just for dads either.
that's
all
true.
all shapes, ages, sizes.
Moms are welcome.
You
Yeah.
can do a mom hat, yeah.
You got granny hats.
So how many hats do you own? Do you have a hat quandary every day, or is it just like you have a go-to and that's it?
Usually, I have more hats than I can count, but usually I end up with a go-to that'll last for a couple months. Right now, I'm wearing my go-to. It hasn't been released yet, but
Yeah, I didn't see that
This
on
is
the
another
site.
exclusive? All right,
Oh,
let's have a
yeah.
look.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous.
my
good
buddy Troy, he does a lot of the design work lately within the last year. So he designed this one, and I hope it does well. We'll see.
So I was going to ask you, what is your testing process? Because, you see those Columbia Jacket commercials, and they got a guy in a winterized thing, and they're shooting snow and water at him. Obviously, you test your hats. Do you just do it by wearing them?
Yeah, most of the time we'll get a sample in and start wearing them to see how it holds up. Most of the time with the fabric, I'll know kind of what it'll be good for, like the ripstop ones. Like if you're going camping or hiking, gonna be walking through some tree limbs, those will be good. Waterproof hats, the basic dad hats, just good old fashioned streetwear.
Yeah, so we're not in the woods.
Hanging out down at Cherry Festival.
There you go.
I can pull my TinLid Co. hat out of my fanny pack because they look like they fold up
fanny
pretty
packs
well.
are coming back too.
Yeah, with that said, like the hat company, will it ever expand beyond hats? Do you see, or is it like O'Feller is doing like leashes and other things for pets?
Well,
Would you do a fanny pack or a backpack?
I don't know if we'd ever do a fanny pack. There was a very brief period where we were selling backpacks.
Okay.
But the issue was the quality was just horrible. Like we were getting the zippers were breaking constantly. People always wanted to return them, so we just stopped selling them before we even sold out.
Yeah, cut your losses.
Yeah, and we get a lot of questions about sweatshirts and shirts, stuff like that, which we've had before. I like to focus on the hats. I don't want to become a big clothing company
All right.
that just sells everything but doesn't really sell one thing, if that makes sense.
Continue with what you're good at.
Yeah. And when we started making more custom hats for clients, that's a big part of it, is when you're a TinLid Hat Company, people reach out and ask like, oh, can we make custom hats? But if you're selling shirts, sweatshirts, jeans, dog collars, people might not really
Now
think
you have
about it
another
as much.
division that you have to try to keep full.
And then when somebody like Mark says, what do you do? Then your very succinct answer of I sell hats is a longer, more drawn out answer.
Keeps it simple.
The elevator pitch is on point.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being here. Is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know?
I did create a discount code called The Pursuit Of for 40% off for anyone that listens to this.
That is extraordinary.
Yeah.
That's the first time that's happened.
That's the highest discount code that's out there, so nothing else will beat it.
The Pursuit Of is the discount code. Again, when you go to tinlidco.com. Also, on the site, as I understand it, you can just donate direct to Trees for the Future.
Yeah, you'll be redirected to their website, but yeah, you can...
just to make a donation,
yep.
and hopefully you've bought 5, 6, 12 hats.
Yeah, and if you don't buy any, at least plant some trees. Go to their website.
How many of them backpacks you got left?
You want one? I can bring you one.
I do. It's exclusive.
I can bring you
That
guys
is
both
true.
one.
I almost said, how about, however many you got left, have somebody reference the show, get a free backpack.
Yeah.
They're waterproof.
No returns.
yeah.
No guarantees on the zippers.
That is so, John, that's so kind. Well, John, thank you so much for your pursuits, and to all those who pursue along with you, helping people explore, discover nature, affect the environment in a positive way, and I think just look real good while doing it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Our pleasure, and thank you all for listening and for pursuing the positive.
And there we have it one more time, the Pursuit of Podcast. Thank you for staying with us. Big shout out to TinLid Hat Company. TinLidCo.com. Use promo code The Pursuit Of for 40% off to our listeners. And also a big shout out to Urban Meds, Traverse City, Michigan. That's HMWellnessStore.com. Same promo code, The Pursuit Of. There's plenty more coming up. Keep checking back, and we'll catch you on the next one.